friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to bring you my September art journal with me video. So I just have a few things that I've gathered that I might want to use today, including my favorite art journal, which I have linked down below always for you guys. I also have my Tim Holtz Ideality Small Talk stickers, which I always use for my title. I have some washi tape. I have a bunch of different ephemera, including a little piece from a paper bag from my birthday when we went bookstore shopping in Pittsburgh. This was the only bit of ephemera that I have that I might be able to use, and to be honest, I'm not sure that this is going to work. It looks like the ink smudges very easily, so it might not even stay there, but that's the only thing I really had from that day that I thought would be usable. And then I have like some tickets and some little stamp stickers and some vintage papers from books. So I thought all those might be fun to use. Not all of them, obviously there wouldn't be room, but some of them. And then for my papers, I have this Stamperia Vintage Library 8x8 pad. Really love this. It is absolutely gorgeous and perfect for this month. And then I also have some Faber-Castell iridescent gelatos. I'm not sure if I'll use these or if I might use my Stabilo Woodys or something. We'll see how the colors look as we start to see the page come together. But I'm going to go ahead and jump right in and get started. Let me grab my art journal here. I'm actually going to take out this little pack of ephemera that we made the pocket for last month, just to kind of reduce that little bit of bumpiness there, and then we'll open up to today's page, and I'm going to go ahead and seal that with some washi tape just to keep the seam protected and also to help hold my papers together, since I am using a notebook that has the perforation in it. I'll just tear off a nice strip of that. Let's make it a little bit more straight. Just seal in that seam a little bit. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this. We'll just layer that right over top. And maybe we'll do the same with this one down here. And because it's transparent, you get layers of that. And then we'll add maybe some over here and some over here, just to kind of break the blank page and get things started. All right, let me zoom in a tiny bit. Hopefully that's a little bit better. And let's see, let's start with, let's take some of these tickets. I thought this would be nice since this was for September, which is the 9th month of the year. This little strip of tickets has the number 9 on it, so I thought that might be symbolic. Okay. And we'll tear that into a couple of pieces, stick it here and there so it has more chance to end up showing somewhere. One down over here, and let's go right in here. Why not? No rhyme or reason, just sticking things down. And then I have a couple of little stamps here. This one has a book on it, so I thought that might be fun to use. And if these things don't show up, that's fine. We're just building up layers, you know, creating some texture and some little bits of things that might show through here and there. And we'll use this one. I thought this one was fun. It just looked kind of fallish to me, and like there was a little story happening in the scene. So definitely leave me a comment down below and tell me what you guys have been up to. I always like to catch up with you guys on these videos and see how you're doing, what you guys have been working on, and any vacations you might have gone on during the summertime, or how things are going as fall has begun. My birthday was the first day of fall, So my husband and I did a little day trip to Pittsburgh, and we went bookstore hopping. We went to 6 different bookstores all around town, which was really fun. I had such a good day. And let's see. Let's stick this one up here. Okay. What else do we got? Got another thing of little tickets here that I just thought would be fun because it's a little bit of a different color and a little different size. There we go. But yeah, this was actually a very busy month for me. Lots going on. My dad's birthday is 2 days before mine. And then my niece gave birth to her first child the day between us. And then my birthday was the next day. So yeah, so I'm a great aunt, which seems so bizarre. But yeah, she had a little girl, so that was really exciting. Just kind of layering things up here and creating little clusters. Okay. And then I have this page from Alice in Wonderland. I thought that might be fun to use. So let me grab my glue stick. I'm using the Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength. I've used this one for 2 years now. Not this, I've replaced it once, but this brand for 2 years now, and I really do enjoy it. So let's see. Let's just tear this down into a couple little strips that we could maybe add here and there. We'll stick this one right in here. Oop, that's all right. Just stick that one down there. Just adding to that little cluster. I'd like to use this picture of Alice, but I honestly don't know how this page, I know that this page is going to be mostly full, so I'm not really sure what will show, but anyway, let's tear this into a couple more small pieces. Maybe we'll stick one over here. It'll probably get covered up because I know that the focal panel that I want to use is quite large, so there's a good chance, but that's okay. Maybe some of it'll peek through, you never know. Another little piece broke off. We'll stick that one over there. This paper is very, very thin. And maybe we'll take a little from down here. But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys have got going on. Any upcoming plans? I feel like this time of year is always so busy with back to school, and then it just seems like we roll from one thing into the next, you know, with for us, well, our wedding anniversary is in October. One of my kids' birthdays is in October, and then Halloween, and then in November there's Thanksgiving, and then you're just like fully into the holidays. My holiday card series ramps up so much at that time of year. I've actually already started it. If you've missed it, I do have one video. Day 1 of my 2023 holiday card series went up the other week, and so that was exciting. Maybe we'll put this one right in the crease somewhere. So it has a good chance of showing up. Maybe we'll take a little bit of this down in this bottom corner. Maybe that'll show up. I don't know. But yeah, you know, and then the holidays, it's just one thing after another. This time of year, it feels like such a like a full tilt ride, you know. I was gonna say a roller coaster, but there aren't that many downs. It's mostly just ramping up toward the end of the year, you know. This time of year, it just seems to fly by after the slower days of summer. But It's fun though. It's exciting too. So much going on, you know. All kinds of get-togethers and fun stuff. Let's see, where can we put you, Alice? Where will you show up? Maybe down in this corner over here a little bit. Let's try her down here. I'm not really sure where the best place is. I didn't think this spread out too much. I just kind of decided on which page I liked for my focal panel and turned on the camera because everybody's out of the house right now, and they will be back in an hour and a half, so I really want to get this video done before they get here. Alright, I think that's a good foundation, so I'm going to flip through the Stamperia Vintage Library collection and I'll show you what I'm going to use for the focal panel. Alright, so this one is so cool. I think that would be a beautiful page to do, but it's a little bit large for this smaller 6x6 notebook. I think it would be, I wouldn't even get everything in it, so I think I'll have to save that for something else. But I wanted to maybe use this page here with all of the books and the doorway. I thought maybe we could create like a doorway that opens up and maybe put this stairway or something behind it if I can make that work. So I'm going to tear this page out, and you see what I mean? This like more than fills up this page here. So I'm actually going to have to trim this down quite a bit, and then maybe I can use some of it over on this page as well. So let's see. Where do I want to trim it down? Let's just start tearing it up. It's so sad kind of to tear this one up because it is such a beautiful page. I am in love with it. Like, I could frame that on my wall, honestly, but I could always buy a second pad if I want to do that. Yeah, let's keep tearing that up just to create a little bit of a softer edge. Just tear that, and then maybe we'll go in a bit too, so it's not quite so perfect. And then where do we want to trim it down? Right about at this shelf is going to be about the most we can go on this page. And then maybe we'll cut it down right through here. And we can always take some extra of this and add it if we need more things there. I like that little candlestick right there. I think that's fun. So something like that was kind of my idea. I think I gotta trim this down just slightly as well. Okay. And then I thought I would just like cut this door open with a craft knife. So let's see, where is the top of the door? Right in here. Hopefully that's, oop, it is going through. Oh my goodness. Well, it didn't go through to the other side, so it'll get covered up anyway. So I probably should do that on my mat instead. Right to there. Then we'll go up here. Right in there. Sorry I'm not talking much, but I just need to concentrate so I don't slip with the knife. And then right about there. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that a few more times to get that to open up, so I'm gonna do that off screen, and I'll come back and show you when it's open. Okay, so I didn't cut it in a perfectly straight line, but that's okay. The door is quite wonky anyway in the way that it's drawn, so I think that's going to be fine. I am just going to kind of fold that back on itself on as close to that line as I can get. And then I'll go ahead and crease that down to reinforce it. And then we've got like a little door that will open and close and reveal something behind, which I think is really cool. Now we just need to know what we're going to put behind, so we can adhere that first. So I think I'm going to go back to that other page and let's test it out and see if it'll work. I know we won't be able to do this whole book, and that would be too big anyway. Like, it's not going to, you wouldn't see enough of it to make it really, well, could maybe do it that way. Does that look like anything? Or is it better to just do the, I don't know. That's kind of cool, actually. I mean, you can't see it all, but it gives you the idea that there's something, you know, that you're trying to reach behind, like escaping into the world of story. So let's take this one out. I think the easiest thing would be to just add glue to the back of this. And then, actually I'm not going to use glue. I'm going to use score tape because I think that'll be easier. So I'm just going to add score tape all around the outside of this doorway. Might have to use the thinner one on the bottom because there's not that much room. So let's go there. And then down this side. Okay. And then this is the 1/4 inch, and I think I'll use the 1/8 of an inch for the bottom, just so we don't end up with tape sticking out where we don't want it, you know? Just that little bit of a thinner strip there. Alright, so hopefully this will work. I think it will. Just go ahead and peel off those release papers. And one more, okay. And then we'll just line this up. We're only going to get one shot because that tape is quite sticky. So we'll kind of just like center that where we want it to go. Where do we want? I like the key being in there. Do we want the top of the book? Or do we want to, I kind of like it better if you don't see the top. Do we want the pages? I don't know, maybe right there. Does that look right? Let's go with that. So I'm just going to smooth that down. And then I'll just tear off, you know, whatever is underneath that I don't need. I actually like some of that layered in. I think that actually looks pretty cool. We'll tear it off on this side though. We can always reuse it somewhere else. But I like it on that side. Let's make it a little bit smaller though. I think that's going to look pretty cool. Okay, we got to tear down a little bit more up here. But that's kind of cool how it's like revealing the other page underneath, giving more layers. I like that. And then I think we have to tear down on this side a little bit more as well, because otherwise it's right in the seam. So we're going to lose that little, but maybe we'll save it. Let's just pull it off of there. And we can always, you know, glue it back down like a little bit layered on top. All right, yeah, that looks pretty cool, don't you think? All right, I'm very, very happy with how that worked. So let's go ahead and glue that down into place. So a lot of what I layered on this page is going to get covered up, like I said, but that's okay. It's nothing that was like super important. Which reminds me, I still have that thing from White Whale that I could add on this page somewhere. We'll see where that can go, if it can go anywhere. Where's the edge of the page? Right in there. And I can layer a little bit more back there. I think I'm going to take some of these little books and add a little glue there, and then maybe like slip it back behind. Okay. And maybe a little bit of this kind of red pattern, almost looks like wallpaper as well. It's from the opposite side, from like what's supposed to be like a book or something, a book cover, but we'll just slip some of that under here too to kind of eliminate some of this white edge. We'll take even a little bit more of that right up on that edge. There we go. All right, I really like how that page is coming together. Although that door is kind of crooked now. Yeah, I think my door is a little bit wonky. I think I didn't adhere that quite straight on the page, but that's all right. It's an old bookstore, and there are obviously the floors aren't straight anymore. That's what we're gonna go with, okay? I think I like this little strip here that fell off, so let's stick that somewhere. Maybe right up in here. Let's try to slip a little bit of this in that crease too. There's a little bit too much white space showing. But yeah, for my birthday in Pittsburgh, we found a French bakery to grab some breakfast at first thing. So we went there, and I did my morning pages, my morning journaling that I do every day. I went ahead and did it there because we left really early. And then the next stop was to the Carnegie Library, the main branch, so that I could get a library card, because if you live in Pennsylvania, you can get a library card to Pittsburgh for free, but you have to show up with your ID to get it. You can apply online, but you need to show up in person for the actual card to be given to you. And no, I'm not going to go all the way to Pittsburgh to check out books, but you can use it for like the free library websites like Libby or Hoopla or whatever. I got it for Libby because that's one of my favorite ways to get audiobooks through there. And I already had one from the Philadelphia branch library, but I only was able to get 6 holds at a time from that one, which was not enough, obviously, because sometimes you're waiting weeks and weeks for books. So I ended up going to the library there and getting my library card, and Pittsburgh gives you 20 holds at a time. So that was so exciting. I was so happy when I realized how many I would get, because that's a lot more than 6. So now between the two, I can get up to 26 books on hold at a time, which is amazing, because then I can really, you know, get a lot of books and not have to, you know, sit and wait and not have a book because everything is taking too long. So I have lots and lots of options now, which is really, really fun. That was one thing that I absolutely wanted to do on my birthday. So we've added that little candlestick in there. And let's see, if I'm going to add that white whale thing, I should probably do that now. So let's see. And then from the library, we went bookstore hopping, like I said. We went to Riverstone Books and the White Whale. We went to a place called Big Ideas, which wasn't really my favorite, but whatever. And then Shady Side books, Postman books. Maybe we have to lose this little part of their logo there and just use the whale. Okay, let's add that and we'll see if that stays. I'm not sure because it rained that day and the ink already started bleeding that this ink will stay once I add like gesso and heat set it and stuff, but we'll try it and see what happens. If not, I'll just have to come back and cover it up with something else. So let's stick it up there. Maybe we'll add this word bookstore as well. But yeah, it was a really fun day, and I got, I think, 6 books. I tried not to overdo it because I already am running out of space on my bookshelf, so I really just stuck to ones that I either knew I would love because I've heard so many good things about it, or I already know I love because I've read them already from the library, but I want to support the author by buying a copy of their book. I do that quite a lot. I will, just buy like my favorites because I can't afford to buy everything that I would like to read. But anyway, what else did we do? Let's see what else I might want to add. Definitely want to add some of this over here. Maybe right in there. And then I still get the word books showing. It's not going to say bookstore, but that's okay. Yeah, we basically just walked all around, and we went to IKEA at the end of the day and ate some good food and stuff like that. So it was a really nice day. I really, that's my favorite way to spend a day is visiting new bookstores. It's just something that makes me really happy to be in the presence of books and booksellers and book people, and I just love all of that. So maybe we'll add some of this underneath and kind of layer it up. Let's try that. Peel that back up a bit. That a little shorter so I don't cover up the whale. Stick some more of it up there. Okay, this is coming together nicely. Got a bit more to do, but I like where we're going right now. What else? This is kind of fun right here. I will add that. But yeah, I think probably the highlight of my day was getting that library card. Yeah, I was super happy. Maybe we'll add it down here because I feel like I want to layer a bit more going up the side there. I like these little bits of red and blue and everything that are kind of sticking out the sides. I think that looks nice. It looks very textured and cozy, which is perfect for this time of year. Maybe we'll add a little bit of this up at the top there. Trying to create like a little bit of a border with some darker edges. Let's see, what else do I have to share with you guys? Oh, yesterday my coworkers and I went on a tour of our local cemetery. It was actually a tour of the notable artists who have passed away in our town, and who are buried in the cemetery there. So there was 10 of us that we all went. A couple of my coworkers invited friends because I only have 4 coworkers, but they invited some friends, and one girl brought her boyfriend and stuff like that. So that was really interesting and cool. I've always found cemeteries to be very peaceful. I don't mind being there at all. I don't find them creepy really. I don't know. I find them peaceful, and I think there's so many stories there, with, you know, so many lives that have been lived that have been kind of lost to time and people just don't know about anymore. And I love to read the names on the gravestones, and I don't know, I like cemeteries. And it was really fascinating to learn about all the people who had been influential in my hometown, and all the things that they had accomplished was just really, really interesting. So I thought that was really fun. And then we went out to dinner at a Mexican restaurant afterwards, and the tour guide came with us too, so we got to, like, you know, meet more people and hang out a little bit longer. And then we were talking about, I really want to go to Concord one day and visit Orchard House, Louisa May Alcott's house, and see Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, because there's what's called Author's Ridge there, where a lot of authors are buried, including like Nathaniel Hawthorne and Emerson and a whole bunch. But anyway, so she had been there and she was like recommending it to me. So that's going to go on my bucket list possibly next fall. I don't know. I don't know when I can get up there, but I think it would be really cool. So it was just kind of fun to hang out and do something a little bit different. I'd never even been to that cemetery before, even though it's like practically right in the center of town. I've been to other ones in town, but I had never been to that one. So that was kind of cool to just walk around. It was very peaceful, and all the trees had their fall leaves on them. And so it was just really beautiful. And you know what? I'm losing a lot of the book pages. So I've got another one here that's also from Alice in Wonderland that I might want to add a little bit more to. So let's go ahead and cut down some more of this actually before I cover up everything, and see where we could add a little bit and just mix it in here and there. I don't know. We'll see where we can add it. I'm not quite sure here, even as I'm sticking it down, where it's going to go, but maybe right in there. Add a little bit. And maybe up here. Oh, no, I'm covering the whale's face. Maybe right there. Let's try that. Let's try to get a little bit even in here. Maybe we can tuck a little bit back behind in those layers. I think that might be cool, kind of peeking out. Let's see if we can get some in here. Stick this little sliver in there too and see how that looks. Alright, so we need a little bit more down here, but I need more color. So let's go back to this. Let's try this one. But the tour guide is actually doing another tour next month for October. That is kind of like a spooky one, like not too spooky, but just like different elements of, there's like a couple of murder victims buried there, and like some different folklore and ghost stories and stuff like that, normally I'm not that into. But, you know, it is spooky season, so I'm trying to embrace a little bit more out of my comfort zone than I normally do at this time of year. Even the books I choose usually are a little bit more on the spookier side. Not spooky like scary, because I don't want to be terrified, but you know, in having a little bit of magic to them or something like that. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. So I think I'm going to sign up for that one too and just see what that's all about. I don't want to cover up this turtle. I love turtles. So is that a turtle? I think it is. So I'm going to leave that in the picture. That one's just too big. Okay. I do want a little bit more color right here. So maybe we'll take a little bit of this blue from this side just to mix it up, since we have quite a bit of red. And we need to make it quite small, just a little sliver. But it was a lot of fun and something just very different. Like, I've never done anything like that before. So, I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun. It was like one of my coworkers' suggestions. She said, I'm doing this. Does anybody want to do it? And I was like, hey, why not? Let's do something different for a change. So I signed up, and then almost all of my coworkers ended up going. Only one of us couldn't make it because she was teaching a class that night, but she did meet us for dinner after because she was done by then. So yeah, it was really fun and just something different than just being at home on a Monday night, you know? So yeah, but that's kind of like why I didn't plan this video out that much, because I got home pretty late. Normally I would kind of think about it a little bit the night before and figure some stuff out, but I kind of just came home and chilled after that because it was already, you know, fairly late in the evening. Not too late, but I had worked all day at my job, and then I went straight from work to the tour of the cemetery, and then straight from there to dinner. So I hadn't even been home since early in the morning, and so it was just time to chill by the time I got home. Maybe a little bit of this darker piece just right up there where that white. Just want to cover that up a bit. I think this little tiny sliver will do it. Okay. And I almost want like a tiny bit of red just sticking out over there. See if I can add a little sliver of that. Let's tuck that back in there too. Yeah. Just a little bit of something. Yeah, I like that much better. All right, I think we're in good shape. I'm gonna grab some gesso and we'll start to knock a little bit of this back. All right, so I've got my Pro Art gesso, but any white gesso will do. And let's see. Just make sure I'm in frame. I'm gonna have to sit down for this part here so I can get in close. Just gonna pick up a little bit on my finger and then just add that here and there to kind of soften the edges of things and kind of help them blend together. Or knock things back if something is a little too bright. This just helps kind of soften it. And if I get too much, I can kind of dab it up while it's still wet. So we did keep one of the 9s right there. So that's nice. I tried to keep that one. And we've got the word books here. And of course our white whale, which is stamped in blue, but it's from the White Whale bookstore, which incidentally is one of my least favorite books of all times. I would say maybe 15 years ago, I decided that I really wanted to go back and read some of the classics that I had never gotten to in school. and I can't remember which one I started with, but one of the first, I don't know if it was the first, it might have been, but one of the first that I picked up was Moby Dick, and oh my gosh, how I hated that book. Parts of it were actually entertaining, like the parts where there was actually action, and they were on the boat and, you know, stuff was happening. I actually enjoyed those parts, but there is so much scientific information about whales and how they break down, you know, for blubber and the oils and the lamps, and oh my gosh, there was so much scientific information. I swear anybody who tells me that they love that book, they must have skimmed some of it, because it is so dense with scientific information, and I'm not somebody who skips. I can't, like, I when I read a book, I read the whole book. I don't skim. Yeah, I hated that book so much, and it kind of like ended my goal of like reading a whole bunch of classics. And just lately I've been thinking I'd really like to go back and try to do that again, because there's still quite a few that I never got to, you know, in high school, and I would like to read them. I think it would be interesting. They're classics for a reason, and I think they still have things to offer. And so I'm thinking maybe one of my goals for next year, because I've already actually won my reading challenge for this year on Goodreads. My goal was to read 100 books, and I think I'm up to 118 now here in the end of September, so I definitely already hit my goal. But I think next year one of my goals will be, I don't know if I'm going to do a classic a month, because that could be a lot. If it's a month when there's, you know, really good stuff coming out, then maybe I don't want to take the time out to read one. But maybe I'll do a goal of like 10 or 12 for the year, and then that way I can kind of just pick and choose when I want to read them. I don't know. But I'd still like to go back and read a few of them. I have read quite a few classics, but there's a lot that I'm missing. And I recently did that Rory Gilmore quiz online, if any of you have ever taken that. They're like all the books that were mentioned on Gilmore Girls or shown in some way, and there's like something like 360 maybe. I don't know how many books there are, but it's a long list. So I took that quiz, and even though I have read a lot of books, there are a lot of books that are really obscure on that list that some of them I'd never even heard of. But anyway, I had only read 51 of the books that Rory read on Gilmore Girls, and so I thought, oh, maybe I should start to read, because there were quite a lot of classics on that list as well. Maybe I should go back and read some more of those. So we'll see. I need to make a list of the ones that I'm really interested in reading, like The Grapes of Wrath. I never read that one, and that's kind of been on my list for a long time. The Scarlet Letter I read part of and saw the movie, but never actually finished the book. But if I'm going to go visit Nathaniel Hawthorne's grave in Sleepy Hollow, then I should definitely read one of his books. So it could be that one or The House of Seven Gables. I also never finished that one either. But I read Wuthering Heights, which is not my favorite, Jane Eyre, all of the Jane Austen, a lot of classics. All right, I'm going to wash my hands real quick, and then we'll do some clear gesso to seal things in. All right, so let me remember to do this, since that one day when I sealed my pages by accident, and now I'm going to be short in this book for the year. I definitely want to add some parchment paper to keep my pages separate before I add that, and then I'm going to use my Dina Weekly Media Clear Gesso, and I'm just going to add a thin layer of that up and down, But anyway, I also have read many, many books that aren't on that list for the quiz for Rory Gilmore. But anyway, I just thought it would be interesting to try to challenge myself to read a few more of the classics next year and add that. This year, my goal was to read more nonfiction, and I can't remember if it was one a month or if it was a certain amount for the year, but I think it might have been one a month. And I did so good for the first half of the year. In fact, there were a couple of months when I read more than one nonfiction. So it would have been either nonfiction or memoir. I kind of categorized those together. And but I have completely fallen off that wagon. I forgot completely about it. So I'm not going to add any in this opening because I don't want to accidentally seal that page. So I'm just going to go right around that carefully. And then I will heat set this. Okay. All right. I think everything is pretty much dry. Still not sure about these gelatos. I don't know if they're really the right color because they are more, this one is more of a periwinkle and this is more, well, it's called coral. I don't know. We can try a little bit, but if it's too pinky, I might have to switch and go with something else. Maybe like my Stabilo Woodys. Yeah, I don't think that works. So let's not do those. Let's try these instead. Okay, I'm just gonna go right back over what I just did and add a little bit of red here and there, like especially where those red borders are with the paper that I've added. And okay, that is not quite adhered well. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take my Purely Art Precision Craft Glue and we'll glue that down. And I think that was just my own fault. I probably didn't add enough glue stick there. So that dries pretty quickly, but we'll just give that a minute. And in the meantime, add some more over here. But I would love to know from you guys, like what your favorite classic book is, if you have one. Because I definitely want to like compile a list of the ones that I would like to get to, because if I'm going to do like 12 in a year or so, like that's not that many. There are a lot of classics. So I'd like to narrow it down a bit and figure out which ones I want to prioritize, at least for this next year. But let's switch to the blue now. Add some of that. So yeah, if you have recommendations, let me know. Like I said, I've done like Jane Eyre, I've done Wuthering Heights, I've done all of Jane Austen, some of them multiple times. Let's see. I've read a lot of them. It's been a long time since I've read most of them. But back in the day, for school, and also just when I was younger, I just liked to read them, you know, and it was like age appropriate material for me, which wasn't always easy to find because my parents were really strict. So that was always like something that was an easy go-to. So I read Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farms and all of those. Probably shouldn't have been reading Wuthering Heights as like an 8-year-old or 9-year-old, but Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it. Maybe if I read it now as an adult, I would like it better. But just trying to add a little bit of extra depth there too in the door. And let's see. You know what? I think I'm going to add some gold as well. I'm going to do some of this Inca Gold metallic rub. I think I'm going to take a little bit of that and just add, like, you know, like how some books have gilded edges. I think I'm just going to add a little bit of that here and there and see how that looks. I won't go too crazy, but maybe at the corners that might be nice. I think that adds a little bit of charm to it. So I'm mainly concentrated in the corners, but also maybe just a little bit here and there on the very edges. And those ended up standing up all right. Not too bad. That ink didn't smear at all, so must have been fine. Maybe we'll add a little gold in here to just add to that bit of magic. Just very light on those books. Almost makes it now look like that little city of books is glowing. Fun. Okay, let's look for a title. I need to finish up here before they get home. So let's go ahead and flip through my stickers here. What are we doing? Black this month. I wish he would come out with another one of these that has like the phrases. I think there is another one, but it's more just words. I might be wrong on that. But I've used this one now for 2 years straight, so I'm running out of, you know, unique phrases. I think I'm going to go with go where your heart takes you, not only in life, but also in trips and also in books. Maybe fall in love with as many things as possible. Maybe ordinary people can do extraordinary things, because that's usually my favorite kind of book, is ordinary people. So maybe just those three. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe here. Maybe we'll put it up there. Trying to still not cover up that turtle. And somebody just came home, so I really got to wrap this up now. Although it might be fun to have something in there, so it would have to be something short. I might have to add a little extra glue on that because the pencil's underneath it, so it's not wanting to stick. Something right in here would be fun, so it would have to be one of the short ones though. Maybe just embrace the journey. Let's just go with that one because it kind of fits with the, you know, the steps. Let's just goes there. No, it doesn't look right. Maybe like that. Why not? Okay, so let me grab my black gel pen. And we'll just outline these a bit more. See if we can't get them to just stand out a bit more on the page. This doesn't want to write on here. You know what? This isn't going to work. So let me see. Maybe I'll use one of these. I think these are a little bit darker. That one's working a little bit better. Till that gets clogged too, I guess. What else do I got? guess it is what it is. Maybe it'll work better on this one because it's not gessoed and it doesn't have the pencil crayon all over it either. Should do some gold splatters, or I actually think I want to do black splatters. So let me grab my ink. I'm just going to use some black soot Distress Oxide. Add a little bit of water to that. And then I can pick that up with a paintbrush. And just do a little I think that's enough. I don't want to get too much there, and in fact some of that is a little bit more than I wanted. It started getting a little bit bigger than I wanted. So I wonder if I can actually just blot some of that up. I don't know. I don't want to smear it and then have like weird black stains either, so I think I'll just leave it. It's not too bad. But I do need to add my date stamp here, so let me grab that. I think maybe somewhere right in here. Hopefully that'll stand up enough. So let's change the date. Today is September 26th. There we go. Ink that up, and we'll stamp that down right there. Good enough. It's a little bit crooked, but it's totally fine. I'm not going to worry about it. You know what I think I will do though, is just take a paper towel and press that down and pop it back up and just kind of take off some of that ink so it's not quite so dark and prominent in a few of those places. It'll help it dry back faster as well. Okay, so that is going to complete my art journal spread for September with our little door into the story world. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're more interested in the card making videos, I'll still have plenty of those this month because we have the Hello Bluebird release this Friday. So I'll have some videos for that, and I have a video on the Lawn Fawn blog on Saturday. So lots more coming up on my channel still this month, even though we're in the last week of September. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon in another one. Take care. Bye-bye.